Good evening and welcome to another midweek episode of the Bob and Kevin Show. Tonight, our special guest is James Jackson South. Joining us all the way from Sydney, Australia, James is an Microsoft MVP, whiskey enthusiast, lifter of heavy weights, and a brand new father. He finds great joy in writing open source software and has somehow managed to find himself in the specialized position of writing a high-performance, cross-platform 2D graphics API for .NET Standard, having previously tamed the beast that is System.Drawing. He lives in Sydney, Australia, having emigrated from Scotland and loves every minute of it. And hey, if you're just tuning in and you're not a subscriber to the show, please do us a huge favor and hit that subscribe button. Oh yeah, and if you want notifications when we go live, click that bell too. Now, without any further delay, Mr. James Jackson South. Hey James, how's it going?
Hi there, Bob. I'm good. You?
Doing all right. Thanks for Thanks for coming.
Yeah, thanks for hitting us up this far away. In fact, when I say this far away, we're that far away, James. Are you actually in Sydney, or I don't know anything about Australia?
I'm actually in Sydney. Yeah. Yep.
Okay, so so we have an intern here, and we just don't want to have to fire them. So we got at least that fact right, but the intern is still on the hot seat. So Bob is actually up here near Chicago, and I am just away from there. But anyway, enough about the map there. So more about James. Bob, you've got James questions.
So James just had a baby, yes?
Yes, I had little Poppy Bell.
She's a month old?
She's a month old yesterday, yeah. Wow. Yeah, she's just the best thing in the world. I can't possibly describe how I feel about her. I can't get.
So were you guys pregnant before you moved to Australia, or was that a result of the move?
A result of the move. No, we've been here 2.5 years now.
Oh gosh, speaking of time going fast, holy cow.
Yeah, it's flown by. So we kind of got a bit broody last year and thought, well, we're nice and settled now, so we best give it a pop.
Very cool. So what triggered the move for you guys?
Oh, well, I came here backpacking when I was a lot younger, and I always loved it. Like I did fruit picking on farms and stuff, and it was just a great country, great people, and I always thought I'd want to come back. And luckily, when I met my wife, she had the same intentions. Her brother lives out here, and her cousin lives out here, and when I found out that she wanted to live out here as well, I thought, well, I better marry her. So.
Yes.
It was an easy decision Yeah.
Very cool. And so 2.5 years you guys have been there.
2.5 years now. Yeah.
So when you moved out there, did you have a gig when you moved, like a job set up, or did you just kind of wing it?
No, I needed a job actually. Because I'd already used up all my visa opportunities with the backpacking years ago. I needed to find someone to employ me from the UK, which was not an easy thing to do, but I managed to pull it off. They gave us the prerequisite that I could have the job if I could move out there within a month. But thankfully, Emma is an incredible packer of things and throws away all my old rubbish really, really easily. So we made it out in the month and got the first job. I now work in a different place, but it gave me the opportunity to come here and stay here.
So how do those logistics work? Like, how do you move from, London to Sydney?
Well, did you come from Scotland, right?
Yeah, Scotland.
Oh, Scotland. Sorry.
You pack everything that you deem necessary into a suitcase, and then you put everything else that isn't junk in your mother-in-law's attic, and then you kind of deal with all that in the future. That's what you do.
So do you get random packages filled with some of your stuff?
We do. I had a whole bunch of comic books brought with me this time with this visit.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought so.
All right, James. Yeah. Can I totally segue into more technical stuff if you don't mind?
Of course, yeah.
This was breaking news to me. If you can see the screen there, as of today, ImageProcessor is in maintenance mode only. Can you give us a little bit of insight to what ImageProcessor is going through and ImageSharp and all that?
Yeah, of course. So, ImageProcessor was something I started, I think, 5 years ago now. 5 years, yeah. And it started off as, I had no big intentions for it at all. It was I was working for a company in Glasgow who were doing cinema websites. Oh, there's the website. Yeah, so they were doing cinema websites, and they needed to take the images from this service that provided posters and rescale them slightly so that it worked better on the website. And one of the developers there gave it a go and couldn't get it working well. So I thought, well, I know how to do this. So I wrote something, just a little scaler and caching mechanism for doing this. But what I realized was whilst writing the code and looking up things myself that I didn't know, was that there was so much bad code for talking to system drawing online. People were leaking memory all over the place. Things were ridiculously inefficient. And system drawing is just unpleasant to work with anyway. It's so odd, it's just so odd at times. It does weird things under the surface that I personally don't really like. Anyway, I'm sure lots of people found enjoying it. So I thought, well, I like Link. I thought Link's the best thing since sliced bread when that first came out. I love the way that you could chain commands and do stuff like that. So I thought, I wonder if somebody could wrap system drawing functions in their fluent APIs, so you could just chain methods and always get an image back and take away the pain from it all. And that's how ImageProcessor started. It was just a tiny little library with a little bit of functionality, and then somebody said, "Oh, can you do animated GIFs?" So I thought, oh, no, I can't. System drawing doesn't do animated GIFs. But I started researching the GIF format and learned a bit more about actual image processing, and figured out that you could actually patch the GIFs that system drawing came out with. So I could support animated GIFs. And then somebody said, "Can you do a web bit with caching and stuff?" And I thought, I could give that a try. And I wrote there the caching mechanism that now it gets used all over the place. I mean, Umbraco use it, and there was a plugin recently written for Kentico, I think, that uses it now as well. So it just grew arms and legs. I wrote wrappers for WebP support. I did some crazy stuff that allowed me to embed native binaries inside the managed one and pump that out in the right place for websites so that you could support different image formats that weren't natively supported. Things like that. It just grew and grew and grew.
Holy crap.
Yeah, it's a crazy library. On the surface, it all looks very, very simple, but it's incredibly complicated. There's a lot of code there that I look back on. Sometimes I'll look at it and think, how the hell did I write that? But the problem with it all is that it's all wraparound system drawing. It's all the stuff under the surface is system drawing. So it lacks functionality. It lacks certain extensibility that I require. It doesn't resize nicely. If you look at the resampling algorithms in the system drawing offer, that you've got the high quality, the bicubing and the bilinear, and then I think nearest neighbor is the other one. And there's not the output that isn't fantastic. It does certain things mathematically wrong, and they don't have situations. They don't have the functionality to support certain situations that you want with scaling and whatnot. And until, well, there's recent efforts to do a compatibility pack for Net Standard. Until that's in place, there's just simply no system drawing support that's any good on OS X and Linux for all this new Net Standard stuff that's coming out.
So let me jump in edgewise, because we'll come back to tech in just a second. What day is it where you're at?
It's Wednesday. Wednesday.
That is amazing. So yeah, because it's Tuesday here, and trying to schedule this thing, I really had to. Yeah, it was really messing with my mind. Okay, that's out of the way. Next, you're a Microsoft MVP. How does that make you feel? Well, no, we'll just go past. It makes you feel great. We get that. What kind of secret cool parties do you get invited to now? I just want to know.
Well, I've yet to manage to go to them. Last year I went and climbed Kilimanjaro for charity, so I couldn't make it to the MVP conference. And this year, because I've got Poppy, it's a bit too much to ask for me to go jetting off to Seattle. But they have every year, they have the MVP conference, and it's a fantastic opportunity to go meet other MVPs, chat to the guys on the .NET team, find out what's upcoming. And I've yet to do it. I've booked my little place in the hotel each year, but I've had to cancel each year, and I think I'm gonna have to.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Yeah, but if I keep up the good work, maybe they'll let me go next year. So we'll see. On top of that, there's little private Yammer groups, and I get fantastic licenses. I get Visual Studio licenses. I get free Azure minutes. It's absolutely brilliant.
Oh, so there is swag.
Yeah.
Oh, there's swag. Yeah. I've got an enterprise license for Visual Studio, which is absolutely brilliant.
So, I just happened to notice that ImageProcessor cracked the 1 million downloads on Nougat, and
yeah, it did.
Pardon my English or French or whatever. Holy shit, man, that's a lot of downloads. So,
it's incredible, isn't it? I just had no idea it would ever be like that, and I think it's 500 and something a day. It's averaging at the moment, 530 something.
530. Yes, I would be looking at that every day. No offense, if that were me, I'd be like, "Yep, 530 a day. That's this guy right here." So what kind of opportunities and doors has that opened up for you?
Well, massive ones. I mean, it helped me get the MVP award because of the open source work I was doing. It got me the job out here, because I was able to show them something that I was capable of doing that not to blow my own trumpet, a lot of folk wouldn't be able to do. Well, maybe not be able to, but dedicate themselves to doing. It got me the job out in Australia. I now live in Australia on the back of my open source work.
So James, we're light on time because of constraints with Zoom and whatnot. So we're gonna do some rapid fire things here. Tell me what was going on this day.
Where did you find that? That's my friend's wedding. Yeah, looking sharp and very clean shaven.
I would say you're very sharp, looking image sharp, if you ask me. And then here's another rapid fire. Can you give me some context with this here?
Oh yeah, that's my little Christmas one. Well, the movie Elf is fantastic, and I saw it, and everyone else had little Christmas avatars. So I thought I'll do a little bit of Photoshop. And it just seemed to work perfectly.
Oh, I thought you were wearing that outfit. Damn it.
No, it's all Photoshop. It's all trickery.
All right, James. So we're gonna end up wrapping up here, and we want to have enough time for you to have however long to tell the world about what James South is doing, if you're available, things like that. So the microphone is yours here.
At the moment, it's all about my new library. It's all about ImageSharp. It's the cross-platform goodness that does everything I wish System Drawing did. It does it a million times better, and will change everything for everybody that ever wants to deal with graphics ever again. It's that's my primary focus when I'm not looking after my wee baby and my family, and trying to get some sleep.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being with us. We do appreciate it. And Bob's going to tell us one more time why we love having people like you on the show.
It's just great to share the friends that we have, but also just the incredible knowledge. This library is off the charts. So congratulations on that. Definitely want to bring you back to talk more about your explorations into .NET code too. So that could be a fun follow-up.
Absolutely, anytime.
All right, well, cool. So yeah, if you want to hear and see more stuff like this, hit that subscribe button. And I think with that, we only have one last thing to do, right?
That's right. And Bob, go ahead and give me that catchphrase.
Bring the lightning.